The other day, we asked the question, why did Mr. Beast not get supported or funded by YouTube for Beast Games? And why is it that Amazon was the platform and the funder of Beast Games when Mr. Beast literally is the #1 YouTuber on this platform? And he's obviously done a lot for YouTube. Why is he going somewhere else? And it's an interesting question because I think that there's a lot of takeaways for creators specifically, but anybody that's aspiring to be a creator that wants to start a YouTube channel, because it's actually a great way to talk about this new opportunity that's happening right now in this time. So, by the way, I've got Austin Hall, fellow content creator friend of mine, and I've got my editor, Cameron. He's also going to be in the background too. And I just want to jump right into it. Why did Mr. Beast get offered by Amazon, $100 million to put on this show and get the show onto Amazon? Well, it's because of money, first off, okay? YouTube didn't offer him money, and Amazon and another streaming platform did offer him money. See, one thing that people don't know about Mr. Beast is he funds all of his things to a negative. So he doesn't make profit on his videos. He's famous for literally depleting all of his funds in his accounts to put on these crazy video ideas, and he doesn't make money. But he's made money off of Feastables, off of his continued success, obviously his brand deals, and just other ways he's monetizing. And what's nuts is I literally just did the search right now. Right before we started this recording, how much did Mr. Beast personally make? And the thing that ChatGPT pulled up was he actually went negative on this too.
Oh,
personally.
really?
Yeah, he spent $10 million of his own money to be able to put it on.
Huh.
And that's, I guess, what's crazy. But the quick answer to, kind of scratch the itch of creators when it comes to why YouTube didn't support Mr. Beast is because they don't feel like they have to. Now, I know if the CEO was right here, like, no, we do want to support him. Look, I gave him the plaque the other day when he got 400 million subscribers. No, I'm saying this by their inaction over a long period of time. The thing about YouTube that makes it unique as a platform, everybody uploads for free. There is no promise of profit. There's not even a promise that anything's going to work. That's kind of the whole point. It's this free video platform that hosts people's videos in this online library that has a lot of traffic. And the short answer is they don't have to fund Mr. Beast because he got his start with no promise at the beginning too. So it's the same. Like, this was nuts. He's continuing to upload videos to YouTube even after this. He's not waiting for another bag. He's not waiting for Amazon, even though they did just negotiate a second and third season with Amazon, right? Probably, by the way, made them $100 million in profit. So why wouldn't they want to do that? And you know what's kind of crazy? All the negativity that was around it. Remember, there was all that bad press about contestants being abused.
Oh, yeah.
Even with all that, they still want to do it. So YouTube, though, going back to them, the reason is it's been the status quo. It's been what makes YouTube work as a platform. Now, it's also really important to know they do care about their creators.
Yeah.
They do care about Mr. Beast. The real question is, why would Amazon or other streaming platforms want to pay $100 million to have him? It's because they need him more than YouTube needs like any creator, because creators are flocking to YouTube more than ever. That's my kind of initial thoughts about it.
Yeah, I like that framing. I think that having an understanding that YouTube's pull is so powerful that they don't have to pay that amount of money to get Mr. Beast on their platform, and that even after Mr. Beast gets a $100 million deal with Amazon to make this show, that he still goes back to YouTube and starts posting it. I mean, like, that has never happened before.
Yeah,
really.
and remember, I said that Mr. Beast lost money supposedly on this. He's always funded his own projects, or he's gotten brand deal sponsors to help him fund it. So this was like the ultimate win, just from like, hey, cost perspective.
Yeah.
Let's just talk about real quick though some of the things about Beast Games. If you're not familiar, it's like a challenge show similar to the ones on reality TV, like Survivor, Amazing Race, or The Challenge, a more recent one. First off, the prize is $5 million. Spoiler alert, it actually made the winner $10 million. 2,000 contestants at the beginning. I don't even think Mr. Beast has ever done anything on his YouTube channel that comes close. Obviously, 2,000 went to 1,000, got dwindled down to whatever, 2 at the very end. What else is really good to know about it? It was 10 episodes, all about, 30 to 45 minutes long. So this is a proper show. That's actually one of the things I think I want to talk about.
Yeah.
It's a Mr. Beast show, 10 episodes deep. He's never even done anything like that on his YouTube channel too. That to me is kind of the other interesting thing, that he hasn't been able to do that on YouTube, partly because of lack of budget, right? He only had enough to fund the next project or whatever, never thinking like doing 10. But of course, with $100 million, Amazon wants to make it a bingeable show on their platform, leading to that. Any other stats about the show?
Not necessarily a stat, but something important that happened earlier this year.
Yeah.
Like there was this big YouTube blog post. They do this every year at the beginning of the year. We've talked about it before, but Neil Mohan talks about how YouTube is taking over the TV, or actually maybe TV's taking over YouTube in certain types of ways, right? But one of the things that he says in there is the CEO of YouTube. He goes and he says, well, YouTube is the startup of the media space now. Like the YouTubers out there are the startups of the media space. They will be doing these types of things. And Mr. Beast is just the first example of it. So I'm looking at this Wall Street Journal article where they're reporting about the Beast Games, and they frame the rest of what's happening in the industry. And you look at this and it says Netflix has had discussions with Dude Perfect to do a show. That Peacock is having comedy shows by creators and things like that. Actually, there's this lesser known streaming platform called Tubi. Do you know about Tubi?
Yes, I do.
Okay, yeah. Do you know about Tubi?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you guys watch Tubi?
No, I don't.
Okay. I never watched Tubi either, but I learned about them because they were streaming the Super Bowl this year, right? They're owned by Fox. They're a small platform.
I remember that.
Yeah. And they have this ad platform on there where they're trying to get people on, and it's free. Like, so it's not like Netflix. It's probably closest to YouTube. But they literally have a CEO who's like, what we're trying to do is we're going to take creators, we're going to give them money, and they're going to make shows for our platform. Because everybody has to pull those creators away from YouTube. And they know that they have these audiences that are trying to, that they're trying to capitalize on. And so that's the interesting part to me, is that, you have these people who are having success on YouTube. And because they're having success on YouTube, they're able to parlay that into a brand, the audience, whatever you want to say, traffic for these companies. And they're like, oh yeah, we want a piece of that pie. It's a huge deal. And it's interesting that they're both competing on TV.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that's actually reinforcing why I said YouTube doesn't have to support Mr. Beast or these different projects, because like you said, YouTube is dominating both, by the way, on devices that are being consuming YouTube. Television is winning, right? Of all devices, television is winning. But like you said, they're also beating out TV for attention. On all the streaming platforms, YouTube is number one. So when I say they don't have to, it's because it kind of earned it.
Yeah.
I think on the backs of creators.
Totally.
But they're so on top. We're talking by like, what was the margin? Like 5 to 7%.
Yeah,
like
5%.
Yeah. So YouTube is like 12% of all the traffic on the television in terms of viewing, compared to the 7 or 8% for Netflix. So this
that's
is
crazy.
This is why Amazon and other platforms, I actually believe the other platform was probably Netflix, right? But even if it wasn't, these other platforms, they need creators.
Yeah.
So the thing about creators, I've always said this from the very beginning, they're the all-in-one tool, right? They're like the 10-in-1, pocket knife, versus the old way of producing content on the television. You need a whole TV studio, right? You need a production team. You needed tons of gear, and YouTubers, and we're going to kind of get into this, even to this day, are still one-man bands. Now, Mr. Beast is interesting because he's going toe-to-toe with any of these TV shows, right? We named some: Survivor, Amazing Race, The Challenge. But going back to what I was saying, YouTube doesn't have to, because in addition to Mr. Beast, what is it, like millions of people are uploading to YouTube. So one of the big takeaways, actually, you brought it up, Cameron, right? Instead of putting 100 million into one Mr. Beast style show, they'd rather help hundreds to thousands of creators grow with no consequence. Meaning, what if the show failed? I remember when all the bad press was coming out about the Mr. Beast Games show, I was thinking, oh my gosh, this is not good for Amazon. If you told me that whatever, 6-7 months later, not only would it make $100 million profit, Amazon would negotiate the second and third season, right? It was a huge win and nobody even talks about it. Even Rosanna Pansino, like a fellow YouTuber from old school YouTube, we're talking like not as old as me, right? In the 2011 to 2015 era, she was on Mr. Beast shows, and she was the one calling out all the criticism. She went on this whole rampage of like Mr. Beast is horrible, their team is abusing people, is crazy about the Beast Game shows. People in the Beast Game shows were reaching out to her about all the bad things they're experiencing. That's not even like a blip on the radar right now.
Yeah.
So why is all that? Okay, it's because people are watching content not only on YouTube, but on the television, and these creators are producing content that's better, arguably, than the TV networks and movie studios in terms of cost. Right? In terms of cost. Now, this is $100 million, but what was a big takeaway? I forgot. Like, there's some like crazy numbers. How much does it cost to make some of these blockbuster movies, and they completely fail? So okay, going back to what I said. But on a smaller scale, there's creators like my wife. You know, somebody asked me, because we just did this like creator campaign, right, with this sponsor. And Judy's content was a favorite of all the creators on this campaign. And I just talked to them recently. They go, like, who produces Judy's content? Who's the editor? I go, it's Judy. They're like, are you serious? First off, they're like, they couldn't believe after 17 years, Judy's still editing. But secondly, they're like, wow, that means that she doesn't have like a big team. It's like, yeah, she has nobody helping her other than me. I'm Instagram husband with the videos and the photos, but in terms of production. So think about cost-wise. The ROI is just enormous. That's been our whole MO and kind of like a business model from the very beginning. So times that by however many, right? Like in this case, thousands of creators. When they support creators, it's just not with big checks, even though they have been known to do that, right? And support different projects. It's making the platform better and supporting them more collectively. They actually just went on a 50-state tour to do creator events in 50 different smaller creator communities to support not just the big creators, but the aspiring creators, the ones in the middle. And so they're much more calculated. I think you probably can answer this a little bit more in regards like what Cameron said about putting $100 million to one show that has a risk of failing, right? It didn't fail, obviously, but it could have, versus putting that $100 million towards the whole platform, like from like you know, like computer science perspective, like in the guts, and just supporting the creator community.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always helpful to think about things from the perspective of money. If you follow the money, then you'll kind of see how people make their decision making, right? And obviously, we've talked about on the small scale here with Mr. Beast and Amazon and things like that. But if you look at the big picture, this has played out in the past. We understand exactly where these people are spending their money, and it also explains why their business models are a little bit different. And actually, Amazon is a really interesting one alone, right? Because they do make a little bit of money on Amazon Prime, but they also have Prime as a broader subscription for to subsidize the rest of their business, right? So you can like get Prime and get 2-day shipping and things like that. So really they have a very big play, and really the thing that they're looking for is to get people on to Prime and to keep people on Prime. And so they need to have content there and keep people there. That's the same incentive for every one of these platforms, by the way. We'll talk about that in YouTube in a second here. But my point being that they're running something more akin to Netflix than to YouTube, right? Netflix is a subscription business. They only recently started adding ads. And so one of the ways that they do that is by getting a ton of people on and interested. And they say at the end of Beast Games, well, what am I going to watch next? Well, maybe there's some show that I like. Maybe there's some sports that I want to watch. I'm a huge fan of the Seattle Kraken. They have the Seattle Kraken on there. Maybe I'll stay on for that and things like that. Whereas on YouTube's side, they're making their money entirely based off of ad sales. So every time you see an ad on YouTube, YouTube gets 50% of the cut and the creator gets 50% of the cut. And so their incentive is very pure. It's not just to get people to subscribe, it's to get people to just show up and keep watching, right? And so for them, what the strategy for them looks like is that as long as they continue to have creators that are interested in posting on YouTube for their long form content before anywhere else, they'll always have someone else. Like imagine, here's like a fun thought experiment. Imagine if Mr. Beast left YouTube. He just permanently went to Jeff Bezos and said, I'm going to make, Beast games for you for the next 50 years. What would happen to YouTube? Would they go away?
No.
Probably not.
And the
right?
viewers that watch his content will just choose something else new and another creator to consume.
I bet you they'll probably subscribe to Prime Video and subscribe for the month and a half that they're releasing the next season. But then they'll probably cancel and they'll go back to YouTube and watch something else, right? That's how powerful YouTube is in this scenario. And I think it really speaks to the opportunity that the TV brings. Because Amazon Prime, if you really think about it, it's one screen in your house, right? You've got a TV right behind you, right? That TV can be the Prime app. That TV can be the YouTube app. And it takes half a second to switch between the two of them and an instant to choose the next thing that you want to watch, right? But if Prime really only has one thing you want to watch, well, you're just going to go to the next app. And 99% of the time for people, that next app is going to be YouTube because it has just so much content that it can be infinitely personalized to every single person. And that's why YouTube's so powerful on the TV.
Literally, it has everything. And you actually bring up the biggest takeaway of the Beast games. And it has everything to do with both Amazon Prime and YouTube. When I would walk into my house, I didn't watch the Beast games ever, really. I would just watch it whenever it was on and around. But when I'd walk into the house after I got done with work or whatever, I would go into the living room and Judy, my wife, and the kids, I've got 5 daughters, so like they love to watch all kinds of stuff on the TV. They're watching Beast games on the TV. Mm-hmm. Never on the computer, never on a phone. And they're watching together the way we used to watch as a family any kind of show on TV back in the 90s or the 2000s.
Yeah.
The reason I bring it up is you said how the CEO announced that televisions were the number one device that people are consuming YouTube on, right? Now, in this case, it was Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
But the point is the device as a TV, that's just like it's there. Everything we watch in the evenings when we're couch viewers and relaxing is on that television. That's powerful to understand as a creator. Because Mr. Beast games is like 40 minutes. It just feels better on a TV.
Yeah.
To watch this for 40 minutes, it's like, why not just cast it up, right?
Yeah.
Or pick the YouTube app on the TV and watch it. In this case, I know it's Amazon Prime. But why that's a big deal to me and why the whole rant even came about is because this picture of Mr. Beast getting handed the play button, right? And then this is in the midst of him having one of the most successful off YouTube shows happen. And why all this is going down is because people are watching more content for longer on the television. YouTube is winning right there. Amazon Prime wanted some of that magic on there. So they do this 10-episode challenge game, $100 million budget, and it's a huge win to the tune of $100 million profit. But the big takeaway for creators is more people are watching videos on the TV. Those are longer sessions. So from an ad standpoint, that's more ads that can play that you can make money from, okay? But also the way you create content for that is different. Compare this to the type of videos Mr. Beast used to make 10 years ago when he was like counting to whatever, right? Did you ever watch those where he would count to like 100,000 or he'd say his name like 100,000 times? I don't think those videos were 40 minutes long. I don't know. I just know that when you think about YouTube proper, you always thought about shorter videos. But right now, that's not the case. Part of the reason why YouTube is winning the stream wars is because there are 30-minute shows, 60-minute shows, some cases 2 to 3 hour podcasts on YouTube, and they're just putting it on the TV.
Yeah.
This probably arguably wouldn't have worked 10 years ago if Amazon, I don't know when Amazon Prime started, but I don't think it would have worked.
What wouldn't have worked?
Like, for example, when Amazon Prime first came out, I wonder how many people were watching on their computers versus the TVs. So I think when streaming came out, for Netflix, you were watching on their TVs. But I think more in percentage, people were still watching on their computers and their laptops. Right now, I feel like when it comes to longer form content, it's so dominated by the TV that this longer session of watching like Mr. Beast games just fits better. So the what do you call it? The ROI of investing $100 million. This is the thing. They're not dummies. They're like, they probably knew this would do well, but I don't think they could have ever imagined it would do this well. because the one thing nobody is seeing is how much content people are watching on the TV. There isn't this like content available. Like, that's my point. Remember what I said to you earlier this year? I said there's going to be TV stars and movie stars.
Yeah.
Mr. Beast became a TV star this year,
exactly.
like proper TV star. He's no longer a YouTuber. He's a TV star with this reality game show that dwarfs all these other ones that have been on for 10 or 20 years.
And isn't that crazy that a reality TV star is posting on YouTube?
So my big takeaway is this. Big money is going to big creators, but this big money comes from a huge investment pool of funding that are going to go to all creators. The TV is creating a new behavior in how people are consuming content, including Mr. Beast videos. They don't just want one Mr. Beast episode. This proved they like 10 episodes around the same concept, right? Beast games, and they became diehard fans. So longer is one of the solutions. 2, you want to create a show. 3, reality. We didn't really talk about it, but if you think about the Beast games, it kind of brought that reality TV feel like to its maturity. He's done some of this stuff on YouTube, but you're following these contestants through 10 episodes.
That's true.
Before you only followed them through 1 episode. So you make a connection kind of, but by the time that last winner, my kids were like, Dad, no, this guy should win because he's going to like cure his kid's disease. Or, oh, this woman, she's going to start this business that's going to like change the world. They're like invested in their lives. And that's the thing. Reality TV is meeting YouTube. We already had reality TV and it was called vlogging.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's like another level of vlogging.
Yeah.
What sticks out to me as a takeaway too is that this whole story is just kind of a testament to not only how confident Mr. Beast was as a creator in the platform of YouTube, but how confident YouTube was in their own platform, that their best creator could go to a completely different platform, create an entire reality show, and they still could stick to what they were doing and be confident that Mr. Beast would come back to that platform. You know what I mean?
I only think that's partly true. Number one, because we don't know what they're thinking. But I'm telling you, this definitely made them notice, oh my gosh, someone's willing to offer one of our creators, Mr. Beast, $100 million to put on a show that he wants and do a 10-episode thing. I do agree that they have a lot of confidence, but that was kind of my point with the picture of the CEO giving him that. That's like so easy to do or whatever, right? But that's part of them saying, hey, we value you so much, we're going to give you a special play button that, that's kind of an odd number, 400 million, whatever. I guess they're trying to celebrate the big win. But more importantly than what YouTube did or didn't do, what they think or didn't think, the fact that Mr. Beast put the promotion episode on YouTube to drive to Amazon Prime and then continue to upload to YouTube afterwards.
First of all, something that you were kind of alluding to but didn't quite say is that this would have never happened without YouTube. Your point was that they were confident that he would come back, right? Mr. Beast, even if it's $100 million, we'll pay him 0 and give him a diamond play button, and he'll still come back and post to YouTube. But the third interesting thing is that even if he didn't come back, YouTube would still be okay.
Yeah. All right. So the last thing I just want to say about all this, the reason why we're even talking about this story, the reason Amazon's offering $100 million and Beast Games is possible, and even Mr. Beast is successful and in this discussion is because of YouTube. YouTube is this platform that takes somebody from South Carolina or North Carolina, I forget where, and makes them into this worldwide superstar. 50% of the viewership of this Beast Games was outside of the US. He's a celebrity all across the globe. It's because this platform makes it possible for you to have 0 subscribers and get to the point where Amazon Prime is offering you this basically like a blank check to put on this amazing show. And a lot of you guys listening to this not only want to start a YouTube channel, but you might be a short form content creator, maybe on TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, and know you need to get into longer pieces of content to take advantage of what's happening on the TV. So if you want to take advantage of this new era we're on, where we're watching longer videos and you want to be one of the creators that create those videos, go to creatorsecrets.org to get started today and learn my method to take advantage of the easiest way to start a YouTube channel and get views as a long form content creator.